So be careful who you use this on. Now let's begin. All right, so the key to what we're gonna be talking about in terms of creating pain and giving the pain that he wants, it sounds wrong, but it's all about creating guilt and insecurity. Because guilt and insecurity is what makes somebody more viable to bend to your will. And when you do this, you sort of become the end all be all to a guy. You are the one that's able to wound him and at the same time heal his wounds. You see, you become the oppressor and you become their liberator in a way, right? But if you really think about it, ladies, just think about this. Anyone who's in love with you, you have that kind of power over them. The problem that happens, the reason why women have unsuccessfully seduced the guys, the reason why some women struggle getting the guys they like is because they're able to bring him in, but they're not willing to give him the finishing blow. Not the kind of blow that we're talking, not the kind of blow that, not that kind of blow, but the finishing blow, all right? Because the key to all of this is this: the lower the lows, the higher the highs. And you think guys don't want that. But think about it. Guys usually want the women who hurt them the most. It is that fucking simple. Guys usually fantasize about the women who causes them to feel more empty inside, who causes reality to seem almost mundane without them in their lives, right? So as wrong as this looks, this is just based on purely observing what works and what doesn't work, right? So if you think this is moral or wrong, then too bad for you, because this is just reality, right? So this is how you do it, right? The first method we're gonna be using, because we're gonna be teaching you guys 3 different ways to give the pain that the guy wants, right? The first one is this: the good boss effect. What I mean about the good boss effect? A good boss, a good manager, a good master, right? Like it could be a boss at a job, knows how to give praise to an employee, right? A good manager makes you feel good. But a good manager also instills a little fear in you. A good manager instills a little anxiety inside, right? A good manager makes you feel guilty when you do something wrong. That's why a lot of women fall in love with their bosses. That's why a lot of women end up liking their boss, is because a boss shows a lot of coldness mixed in with warmth. In other words, this is what bosses do, right? Bosses give you harsh criticism. They make you feel a little inferior from time to time, right? They'll tell you, this is what you're doing wrong, you gotta fix it, right? And that criticism makes you feel down. So then when you do what's right, they give you praise, and all of a sudden, they have a control when you feel good and when you feel bad. So how do you do it? How do you use the good boss effect on the guy you're with, right? Simple as this. For the first few weeks of seeing him, right? If you're a nice girl, right? This applies to the nice girls, because if you're a bitch, then this doesn't apply to you. But if you're a nice girl, what you want to do is first create a sense of security, right? You are consistent with him. You show him your good face. That's how you bring him in, right? You bring him in with your niceness, right? But after a few weeks of knowing him, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of knowing him, right? You switch it up and you give him a criticism that's based on his character that's true. For example, if I'm with a woman and she never initiates contact, or if I'm with a woman and she's very critical of people, I could just say, hey, look, man, I'll be honest with you, man, I like you, but you criticize people a little bit too much. And it's not that I don't like you, but you just criticize people. It's a little hypocritical of you, man. And I don't know about that. Or I could say, hey, man, you know what? Every single time we hang out, it's always me having to initiate this. Maybe you think you're better than me and stuff like that, but I don't like to roll that way, because I give you the respect that you deserve, and I just feel like you don't give that back. You literally criticize them. Find something to criticize. Find anything to criticize that's legit. And for example, it could be that they get angry a lot. The point is, find something to criticize. And what happens then? After you find something to criticize, say it, and then revert to you being nice, right? So you give them harsh criticism, and then you return to being nice. What that does is that it pulls a person's self-esteem down. It makes them feel a little, right? And what they'll want is they want to see that nice version of you. It doesn't even have to be criticism. It could be that they did something genuinely wrong, and you call them out on it, right? And you show them another face of you. And then once you finish calling them out on it, once you finish scolding them, you return to being happy. It's almost like when you're a parent, you beat the shit out, not to beat the shit out of your kid, right? Hispanics parents do, right? You whip him, you say, this is because I love you, and then you make him some rice and beans. That contrast of criticism, punishment with love and warmth creates a cycle of addiction that makes people fall in love with you. Now, the key is to first create an image in the person's head that you're somebody that's fair, right? So it takes time to do this. So if you already have this image, if you're already a nice girl, you could do this fucking tomorrow. Find something to talk about. For example, the girl that I'm talking to, she got mad at me at something, right? And obviously she was right about it, right? And she was like, hey man, I don't like that you did that. And you know what? When she said that, finally she said something. Finally she said something. I felt bad. It works, people. It works. The second thing. So the last one was about creating guilt, right? Creating insecurity, but the last one was a little bit too direct. This one is more indirect and more insidious. And to be honest with you, indirect is much better than direct. So all you gotta do is learn how to insinuate things and create insecurities through your insinuations. For example, so you could talk about how, let's just assume he's a skinny guy, right? He's a skinny guy, right? Remember, it's all about creating insecurity. So you could just talk about how, oh man, yeah, I love Will Smith. He's so big. Ugh. Man, I love watching him. He's just so sexy. Stuff like that, right? If you want to feel insecure, just praise a guy that's big and strong, right? Or praise a guy that's rich, right? Or praise a guy, let's just say this guy has a 9-to-5, the guy you're talking to. Praise a guy who has financial freedom, right? Let me give you my case. The guy, I was talking to a girl and her ex that she loved, right, was a big black guy, right? And he worked out, right? And at the time I was skinny. So she just insinuated that she fell in love with him. It's subtle, but you know what? What happened to me? I started working out. And when I started working out, as I was working out, I wasn't just working out, I was thinking of impressing her as I'm working out, right? You know how some parents that are bad say, I love how your cousins are, or I love your cousin, he's so responsible. What are you gonna say? Bitch, what the fuck you saying, man? I'm not responsible too, right? Stuff like that. Praise and talk about people who have traits that he doesn't have. It'll naturally create an insecurity, and he'll naturally start to begin to sort of be that better representation that you have in their heads, rather than having that person. They want you to think of them as you think of that person, if that makes any sense, right? Or just talking about how you go to the gym and let's say he doesn't go to the gym and she goes to the gym. Just talk about how, oh man, all these guys are working out. I love it, man. It just motivates me. You don't have to say, I love watching Tyrone fucking do work. No. You just talk about how you love being in an environment where people work out and just seeing everybody in shape. And it's just like he's a fat soul, like me, right? Look how fat soul I am. Look at that. Look at that. Don't do that to me, people. That'll make me feel insecure. And if you guys make me feel insecure, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna close the channel, ladies and gentlemen. That's why. Don't make me feel insecure. The next one is this, man. By the way, I want to say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, right? And you'll see them right here, right? Because a lot of them is because of them that this channel has proliferated and has been successful. So say thank you to all of them, right? The breakup method, the preemptive breakup, right? The preemptive breakup is all about creating a little chaos in a guy's life, right? And again, I said this earlier, think about the relationships that you always wanted. It's usually the people who break your heart. This is risky, people. This is risky. Breaking up with people are more forgiving than you imagine. People are more forgiving than you could imagine. By you breaking up with him over an argument that's legitimate, that is like, let's just assume that he talked to another girl, or let's just assume that he took a whole day to text you back. Breaking up with somebody shows them that you're somebody who's not to fuck with. Now, this is the key though. You break up with them, you delete their number, you tell them not to contact you, but you find a way to run into him. Again, people, a lot of you guys are not gonna do this because it takes a lot of risk. And I don't recommend you guys do this, but this works, right? It's all about you breaking up with him over something that is legitimate, because everybody has a reason to break up, right? Blocking him, making him feel like he's never gonna see you again, because it's all about taking him to the island of despair. a place where he feels like he has no hope for you. And then orchestrating a way to see him, orchestrating a way to run into him. And when you do run into him, you act as though you're not mad anymore. You act as though you didn't break up with him. Yeah, oh my God, it's you. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And what that does, it makes him feel, how can I say this? It lowers a person's guard. I know it's fucked up. I know it's fucked up, but it worked on me, people. I'm just letting you guys know, this worked on me. Like, I'm not saying that when you break up with him, you see him randomly, right? And then you act cold. No. Because you want to confuse the motherfucker. You act like you're happy to see him. You act like you were waiting to text him, but you just forgot. You say, hey, let's hang out. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna go any further with this method because I could talk about it some other time. But this is fucked up. You gotta make sure who you do this on, because this is borderline abuse. But then again, isn't being heartbroken a form of abuse? Isn't being in love a sort of masochistic, indirect way of feeling pain? Ladies and gentlemen, the world of love isn't a place where the nice people thrive. It isn't a place where the morals, where the people who are moral win. It's a place where you gotta be a little cunning and a little strategic, mixed in with love, of course. As long as you genuinely have intentions with this guy and you really wanna be with him, this is how you do it. But it's a little risky. It might create the kind of attachment that you might not want, which is obsession. And it might give you a thirst for more power. So you wanna be careful with this and just see it as entertainment. If anybody does this to you, just realize that this person either one, does not like you or respect you or appreciate you, or they're manipulating you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever wanna learn how to use your feminine energy to influence people, learn how to use your masculine energy to become more assertive, and also learn how to blend both energies to improve your dating life, your spiritual life, honestly, your relationship life, your family life, your career life, this is the course for you. If I had to make a course for my nieces, I have two nieces, one is 19 and one is 15. 16. Holy shit. Oh my God, he's a bad fucking uncle. He's a bad uncle. Get him. Shut up, Melissa. You should get this course, right? And this is the course that I will make for them. So, for example, watch the curriculum, right? In the first week, we're going to be showing you how to establish a strong masculine foundation without letting it hurt your feminine energy. This masculine foundation is a source of who you are, right? It's your bodyguard. Without this, whatever feminine energy you create will be destroyed by the outside, because your masculine is your shield. So we'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about how to develop a serious attitude. We're going to be talking about how to use more logic, how to use more goal-oriented behavior. It's more how to be a man. Now the next one is how to embrace the feminine energy, right? This one would teach you about how to minimize excessive masculine traits, developing self-awareness, healing abundant feminine energy, regulating your emotion, mastering voice qualities and facial expressions, surrendering control, and allowing pain to be felt. This is honestly, this will supercharge, like Kaioken, your masculine energy. After that, we have femininity in the workplace and how to be feminine in the workplace without letting people take advantage of you, and the nuances of how women on power should behave versus women who are subordinates in the workplace, and even the dress code. This is based on psychology, people. It's kind of insane. I'm actually excited about this one. The next week, we talk about navigating the labyrinth of male and female friendship. And this, a lot of women find confusing, so we talk about that. And how to identify envious friends, how to identify the good friends, how to keep male friends, and how to keep female friends. Week 5, we talk about how to release the burden of the past and stop and destroy mental projections. This is actually really powerful. And then week 6, we talk about how to increase your observational power so that you could read people better. And we have a bunch of bonuses. The course starts at $99, and you guys can pre-order the course today at $69 before it goes out. If you're watching this, most likely I'm in the meditation retreat, so I will be praying for all of you guys. And just click on the description down below of the video, right there, you'll see it, and you could pre-order that course. It's gonna be out by the end of next month or the beginning of February of March. One of the two people, because I have a 10-day retreat to do, and I want to finish the course after the retreat, because I think the ideas are gonna be so much better. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Pre-order, man. Oh, I'm closing the channel.